Today I'm throwing it back to a time when I was outside with friends. A while ago we decided to go for a short camping trip for a friend's birthday, to set up our tents and drink a few beverages. We headed up to Point Plomer Campground and I brought along a few of my small metal children. I brought along the Polaroid SX-70, my Canon AE-1 and the Lumix GH5 filming me right now. What a guy. For my Canon AE-1 I decided to bring along my Helios 442 lens, 58mm f-stop 2 lens. I also brought along Ektachrome 100 color positive film from Kodak. This is both a film stock and a lens I haven't used before, so there was a lot of experimentation and pretty exciting for me. In the morning we set out on the freeway for Point Plomer. Our first and main stop on the way there was Bulladilla, where we walked around for a moment before stumbling on this cute little garden. I didn't have any film loaded at the time, so I just took a few shots with my GH5, but then we stumbled on this little nice bottle of wormweed. Continuing on down the freeway and bumpy dirt tracks, we arrived at our destination, where we pegged in our tents, reclined our camping chairs, and just relaxed for a moment. In the first evening, I took this shot of a lonely pandanus tree near the coastline of the campground. I took it with my Polaroid SX-70. This tree was planted as tribute to someone who had passed away, and I honestly thought it was one of the better shots of my trip. We then sat down, had a few drinks, and toasted some big old marshmallows. The next morning, my little metal child, the Canon AE-1, was hungry. He was desperate, in dire need for some Ektachrome 100. So I loaded him up, and then I went for a strut and a Second evening, we were chilling out having a few drinks when Mothra decided to turn up. G'day Mothra, have a seat mate, and enjoy some extremely dysfunctional Uno. On the final day, after shooting some of the morning light, we packed up our tents and hit the road. On our way back, our first stop was near Taree, where the recent bushfire crisis had hit quite hard. I wanted to capture the resilience that the Aussie bush has, that burst of green out of the charred bark. Next up was Ricardo's Tomatoes, where we bought some tomatoes, looked at tomatoes, watched people eat tomatoes, but we photographed strawberries. We then smashed the rest of our drive home. Here are my initial thoughts on the Helios 442 lens and Ektachrome 100 film. A couple of things to note with the Helios 442 lens. It has quite a confusing aperture ring system. The numbers are sequenced backwards, and it's also free to change at any time. You will need to keep it wide open for light metering and then select your aperture after. I recommend watching as many videos as you can on this lens, both before purchasing and before using. I did not. In the future, I'm planning on doing a tutorial on how I now shoot with the lens, as well as talk about the few different quirks that come with it. Secondly, I just want to quickly talk about Ektachrome 100 or color positive film. Color positive film can quickly become quite overexposed and you can lose a lot of detail in your highlights. You don't necessarily want to shoot 1 or 2 exposures over like you normally would with C41 film. You want to shoot closer to your light meter or even 1 stop below to ensure that those highlights don't blow out and ruin your shot. Lastly, I'd just like to take a moment to thank Rewind Photolab. I've been using this Photolab for a year now and they send back really beautiful scans. It's been incredible that they've continued to operate in amongst this pandemic. Also, thank you guys so much for your love and support on my first video. I really appreciate it. In this crazy time, stay home, stay safe, and rub a little furry baby's belly.